Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to this edition of Blue Ridge Off Grid. It's another cool day here in the North Carolina mountains. We have some extremely cold weather coming for the weekend over Christmas, and I think that that's going to affect most of the United States from the Midwest over to the East Coast. So everybody's going to be getting a taste of the cold weather. So today we're kind of preparing for that. I'm going to do a quick video on how to utilize and get the most out of your wood stove when you're dealing with extreme temperatures like 8 and 9 degrees. That's what I'm going to be dealing with this weekend, is 8, 9 degrees, maybe lower. We don't know yet, but we're going to be into the single digits maybe a couple nights, and it's going to take a lot of wood. Most people think it's going to take a lot of wood to keep it that warm in the cabin so that, you know, we don't feel the cold temperatures, the extreme temperatures. But there's a little trick that a lot of folks don't know. If you're planning on going to live in an off-grid experience and this is something that you want to try, I'm going to share my little trick with you today. How to keep extremely warm very easily, and you'll be snug as a bug in a rug. So I'm going to share my little trick with you. My father taught me this trick. So he's no longer with us, and I sure do miss him, but he taught me this trick, and it's going to enable you to utilize the most out of your firewood. Remember, in our last episode of Blue Ridge Off Grid, we talked about how nothing should go to waste, really, in an off-grid environment. In the real world, the world of technology, nothing should go to waste there either. But we know how wasteful our society has become. And in an off-grid experience, you don't waste anything. So today I'm going to show you my trick on how to keep it extremely warm in your cabin and in your home, and how to utilize your firewood and save your firewood, especially during the day when you have the radiant heat from the sun assisting you on heating your living space. We'll be right back. So here's my chopping block. I think this is the third one I've had this year. This is a piece of red oak, but that's not really what we're looking at today. I want you to look at all of this bark that's around it, that's fell off the cores as I've chopped this wood. There's a lot of bark laying here, and that's Ashton. So a lot of bark, and a lot of folks, the majority of folks that I talk to, they tell me that they just let it go to waste. They don't worry about it. But really and truly, this is an excellent heat source. This is how to keep extremely hot coals in your wood stove and how to maintain a high temperature to heat your cabin, is by using this bark that falls off of the wood. So I actually bucket this bark up and I use it during the day to keep my wood stove simmering. And I'll show you about the temperature that I keep my wood stove. I'm in a tiny cabin, a tiny home, so it doesn't take a whole lot to heat my living space. But this bark, I actually put it in my wood stove throughout the day, and I maintain my temperature. I don't even burn my cores of wood that I've chopped and that I've cut up, my round wood that I've cut up with my chainsaw. I don't even burn that during the day. I burn bark. And then if I get up in the middle of the night to stoke the fire to maintain the heat, we all know that nighttime and early morning time is your coldest times of the day. I'll throw a little bit of this in, and a couple of chopped pieces, and I'm maintaining my temperature. So don't let this bark that falls off the wood that you chop go to waste, because you can raise your wood stove. Once it catches up, you can raise your wood stove temperature by about 300 to 400 degrees in about 10 minutes by using bark. That's pretty extreme. We're thankful that you guys joined us today for this episode of Blue Ridge Off Grid. We hope we gave you a little tidbit of information that will be very useful for the weekend. I do chop my own firewood, and I chop it by hand. And so I have a lot of bark. And like I said, I bucket it up, I save it. I use about 2 handfuls periodically throughout the day. It keeps my wood stove hot. It'll flare up and it'll burn really hot, and enable you to keep some really hot coals in your wood stove, so that in the evenings when you really need the heat, you've already got the hot coals there, and you're saving your firewood that way. So you don't have to use the larger cores that you're chopping up, or that you're cutting up with a chainsaw. It enables you to save your firewood so that you can put those larger pieces in when you're asleep, and you don't have to get up as much throughout the night to make sure that you have heat. So that's just a little trick that I want to share with everybody today. Thank God for my daddy for teaching me that, and I sure do miss you, Pops. You're a smart man. Again, very little should go to waste, if anything, when you're in an off-grid environment. It's going to be a really cold weekend. We got lots to talk about. One of the questions that somebody asked me yesterday was whether or not we have indoor facilities, indoor bathroom. And the answer is sure, yes, we do. We have septic system here. So I have a bathroom here in my off-grid environment that is just like anybody who lives on the grid. So it's no different. It's just a different setup. We do have a septic system here, and I do not use composting toilets or anything like that. Some people do in their off-grid environments. It's just something that we did not want to do here, and we'll talk about more about that in the coming months with new episodes. But I hope all of you stay warm. Christmas is coming. Santa Claus is almost here, and we appreciate you for supporting our channel. Please give us a thumbs up. Please give us a thumbs up below. Like, share, and subscribe. The success to our page is dependent upon you, and we're glad that you join us. If you have any questions, any comments, any concerns, please feel free to comment, send us a message. We love that. We love that. This is a learning curve for me still. I'm living totally off-grid here, and if you have things that you want to share, maybe you live in an off-grid experience, please share those things. I would love to have conversation with you back and forth, and share pointers with each other. One thing I want to leave you with today is don't burn pine. If you are new to off-grid living, and you have firewood that you need to stay warm with, or that you're cutting, pine can be very dangerous in an off-grid environment. So that's something that we do not burn, is pine wood. Some people do burn pine, and they say, I just clean it out every single year in the spring. But we do not burn pine except for in our fire pit when we're outside having a little fun and misbehaving. So at any rate, have a great evening. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you again for the next episode of Blue Ridge Off Grid, and I'm going to let that be a secret. Stay warm, folks. See you soon.